Do you ever put on a dress and feel like something is off? It technically fits, but it doesn't feel right. It's almost like the dress is wearing you instead of you wearing the dress. And there's something about it that you like, so you keep it. Hi, I'm Bex. I run sewing classes, clothes upcycling and clothing sustainability workshops here in Sydney, Australia. Continuing my How to Alter and Upcycle Clothes series, today I'm altering 3 different dresses that fall into this category. So let's get started and keep great clothes out of landfill. So now on to project number 1. I'm going to be heavily altering this little beauty. And then later on in the video, I'm going to explain what I did to this beautiful dress. So one of my mum's friends donated this to me. A lot of people donate clothes to me because they think that I'm going to save them, and I usually do. So this is just a little bit too big. I'll try it on in a minute and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So it's got kind of culottes at the bottom, shorts at the bottom. The brand is Ali, which I'm not sure if they're an international brand, but here in Australia, I'd kind of call them fast fashion. The size is a size 16. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on, I can't see a thing. Size 16, so it is a little bit too big for me. But what I love about buying garments or being donated garments that are quite big is that you end up with a lot of fabric to work with. I mean, these shorts here, there's so much fabric here, and it's quite a nice cotton blend, so it's easy to work with. It's easy to sew, cool, wears well. You can see that it's got all this shirring along here. And you'll see when I try it on, it's got really voluminous puffy sleeves. It's got sort of like that, I call it sort of like that pirate wench sort of look to it here in the bodice, you'll see. And then it's got a whole lot of shirring at the back and a zip that goes all the way to the back. Okay, so here it is on. You'll see it's just got enormous amounts of fabric here in this skirt. Same amount at the back. What I really like about a garment like this is there's a lot to work with. There's a lot of fabric. So even though this style isn't my particular style, I always want to save a garment. That's why people give them to me. This is a real challenge for me. This is a challenging garment. I won't lie. It's going to be difficult. Even after 30 years of experience, this is going to be hard because there's a lot of pleating here. There's elastic up here. But there are good elements to it. I think this is a perfect example of a garment wearing me instead of me wearing the garment, and Wiley agrees. Anyway, back to this dress. So I think that there's elements of this that I will salvage and I will save because I think that there's good things. I've always been a fan of animal print for a long, long time, but just long sleeves, all of this, it's just too much for me. At the back, you can see all of the shirring and the zip down the back. I'm probably going to take that zip out. I don't think that zip is necessary because it's got the shirring, so it gives it an enormous amount of give. Anyway, this is going to be a tough one. I'm not sure. I've got some ideas, but fingers crossed it all works. So I'll be back. Okay, so here it is finished. It's quite the transformation. I'll explain everything that I did step by step. So I tried adjusting. You might remember there was the really puffy sleeves, really puffy. So I did try adjusting those, but because they had elastic in here, it just kept lending itself to this puffy sleeve. I didn't want that. So then what I did is I took the elastic out and I had to do a bit of alteration to the sleeve head. just to have it as a normal sleeve, well, just as a sleeve without the elastic. And I think that worked really well, completely transformed the top. I actually used the elastic that I took from the sleeves. I used them here in the bottom of the sleeves. I just obviously took the sleeves up and then sewed a channel and put the elastic in there. I think that made a big difference. I didn't make any change to this area here. It didn't really need it. It still fit quite well. And then with the skirt, you might remember it was so big and voluminous, this kind of skirt area at the bottom. So what I did there, where it had all these big triangle sections which gave this volume, I took out those triangles. So I sewed, I really took those in as at a triangle, which then took all of that volume out. Now, whenever I'm tailoring or altering an outfit, I'll always pin it first and keep trying it on. I mean, I must have tried this on 20 times. Each time I'd pin it, sew it, I might, alter it a little bit more, pin it, sew it a little bit more. And then finally, when I'm really happy with it, then I'll only then cut the excess off. So that's just a really easy way of not stuffing up a garment, really. So then that turned the skirt from that really voluminous skirt kind of look into more of a straighter but still quite a casual loose fit. Then at the back, I took the zip out of the back and just joined it together, just created a seam at the back. Because this has got the shirring elastic, it's easy to get in and out of, so it didn't really need that zip at the back. I'll repurpose that zip, use it for another project. That's another thing that I always do and that I've built up my stash over the decades, is never really throwing anything out. And that zip, it was quite a long zip, a white zip. It was an invisible zip, so I'll be able to use that for another project, which is great. So even if it had have been donated, it probably wouldn't have been purchased. So hopefully now, because I think it's got really good aspects to it, that it's now got a second life and it will live on, because this has still got a lot of life in it. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you've got any questions, put it in the comments, but I think this is a really good transformation. Before we move on to the next project, if you enjoy videos like this and want more practical tips on altering and upcycling clothes, consider subscribing so my next video shows up automatically in your feed. Okay, so I'm going to discuss what I did with this dress. Bought it secondhand and I didn't even realize at the time, I knew it was too long for me. I'll put a picture up in the corner. It was really long, but what I didn't realize, it had elastic around here. I think the original design of it was probably to be an off the shoulder. And I didn't know that. And then I got it home, and you know when elastic starts to break down and it becomes, you can hear it sort of breaking internally, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That wasn't a problem. Very, very easy to solve. So there was already a channel in the neck where the elastic was. So all I had to do was open up a little bit of that channel, take the existing corroded elastic out, and then I just threaded a ribbon through. I've got plenty of ribbon, so that wasn't a problem. Again, keep your stashes going so that if you do need ribbon, you just have to open a drawer and there it is. And then I just put some little beads on the bottom. I'll do a close-up so you can see. This is really good because having this tie here means I can loosen it. If I did want to do it off the shoulder, I could. I just have to undo the bow here and then tie it back up as tight as I want. I can make it tighter, looser. It really gives me flexibility to be able to manage this neckline now. So even if you've got a garment that has a bit too much elastic around here and you're not quite liking it, that's another change that you can really easily make, is remove the elastic and put in some ribbon. And this has been, as I said, I've had this for years. It's been through the wash, I don't know how many times, and it's really standing the test of time. When taking dresses like this up where there are defined layers to it, in the pattern is what I mean, you can use those as your ruler to take it up without having to measure. I mean, obviously, pin first, press. I always press. Pin first, then press. Try it on and see how it goes. So say for example, if I wanted to make this shorter, I'd probably use this white here as a line, or if I wanted to go really short, I might use this as my guide. So just always bear that in mind. Look for a really simple way. I'm all about fast turnaround. Then the final thing that I did with this after fixing the neckline, fixing the hem, is then I just took the sleeves up. People that, I mean, I'm really short, so I have to be very mindful of clothes wearing me. So that's the whole purpose of this video, is changing clothes that it's like the clothes are wearing you instead of you wearing the clothes. And this dress was wearing me in the very beginning. So again, I just brought the sleeves up. I would have used something in the pattern to help me to get an even sleeve length. It looks like I've used sort of like this blue design here. So have a think about that. That makes any upcycling alteration project really easy if you follow those tips. I'm based in Sydney, but if you can't attend one of my face-to-face workshops, I also run online sessions via Zoom for clients around the world. You get 1 hour one-on-one with me where I give personalized advice on how to alter and upcycle your specific garments. So have a rummage through your wardrobe, even that bag of clothes you've been meaning to donate, and book an online session with me. Go to secondlifeupcycling.com for info. My last in this series of altering dresses that feel a little bit off is this little sundress. I've just realized I've probably got a style. I might call it sort of urban hippie. I do like all of that kind of Indian sort of fabric. And that's the great thing about being able to upcycle and alter clothes, is that I can see something secondhand or someone can give it to me, and if I love the fabric, I'll buy it because I can alter it myself. So I'm not restricted by fit. Never restricted by fit. I can always change it into something else. So what I always look for is a great fabric, and then I always look for a really nice cotton or linen or something like that. I tend to steer away from synthetics because not very comfy. Well, they're comfortable to wear, but not very pleasant to wear, particularly here in our Australian summer. We've got a lot of humidity, and synthetic clothing does not bode well. And then I find the cottons and linens and more of those natural fibres, not only are they better for the environment when they break down, and that's a whole other video that I'll discuss, but also they're much easier to sew, so much easier to sew. It's like they're accommodating, where synthetics not accommodating when you're trying to sew them. So back to this dress. So this was a little bit too big for me when I bought it. But what happened was, because it was bigger, it was too low for me at the front. And so what I did to change that so that this bodice area fit me better was then I just took this front section in, and that's just a matter of folding it over and just zipping it up like a triangle. And that just took all of this extra volume away. There were buttons already on the front. I took those off and just sewed those back on. I also, and I'll do a close-up of this, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, excuse my bra, is I also took the shoulders up. Again, the same principle, from starting least amount of fabric at the side, at the shoulder seam, you then come in more, again, pin first, try on before you sew, and definitely before you cut. I've actually kept the original fabric there, because then if I want to change this, then I've still got that seam there. So I can always let that out if I want to, if I need to adjust this further, if I want to give myself more room up here. I haven't cut that off. Then what was really interesting with this, even though I'd done all of that, the waistband was still a little bit too, this waist was still a little bit too low for me. Also, I didn't, because there's quite a lot of fabric here in this skirt, I didn't want to have to muck around with re-hemming the bottom. When you're working on a curve of a hem, it can be a little bit trickier. So what I thought would be easier is I cut through the middle here where the original waist was, and then I just re-sewed it in. And you'll see what I've done is just put some little pleats, little tucks here. And that makes it hang nicely. For this being a casual dress that I don't want to have to suck in when I wear this dress, I just want to put it on and go and just be really comfortable. Again, very easy. I'll just show you, the back couldn't be simpler. So just cut this off, separated the two pieces, and then just re-sewed it back in. Because there was a bit of excess, I didn't want it too flouncy, I just added some little pleats in here. This is a really simple project that probably you could knock over in about an hour and a half. So if you see, or you've got in your wardrobe a garment that's, you love it and you're not parting with it, or you see it secondhand or at a market or wherever it might be, think about changing it. If you love the fabric, think about changing it, because this will, doing these different projects and extending your expertise, trial and error, you'll stuff some up. I still stuff things up. Expands your confidence and your skill set. So give it a go. I hope you found this useful. Thanks so much for watching. If you've got a dress or any other garment that you'd like some alteration or upcycling inspiration for, let me know in the comments and I'll add it to my list for future videos. And if you'd like me to make more videos like this, please throw me a thumbs up. It really helps and encourages me to create more content like this. Thanks. See you next time.